Our focus group. Great to see you all. Here's some free advice for Senator Rubio. When trying to look tough, do not wear the sweater. The sweater undermines toughness. Am I wrong? Right? Okay. Right. It could have been worse. It could have been the vest, like Santorum. But okay. Let's start with what is obviously, if not coordinated, an increased level of attacks on Senator Rubio by these other guys who are in that sort of establishment lane. You guys are all Republican voters. Do you understand it? Do you like it?
No.
Why?
Christie has a lot of nerve. She has
Christie
a lot of nerve.
Why?
In a state where we've been downgraded 9 times and people are exiting quickly out of that state because of taxes and no business opportunities for us, he has the nerve to talk about accomplishments. I really find that really hypocritical on his part.
Go ahead.
Christie, actually, I agree. And Christie has a lot of issues on his own. Christie was the head of the Republican Governors Association. Meanwhile, he did not back Republican Rob Astorino, who won upstate New York by a big majority and could have become governor if it wasn't for Christie. Christie also didn't back several governors in the South. So you know what? He doesn't deserve anything. He needs to just drop out and get lost.
But, yeah, go ahead.
What do you expect? I mean, they're running for president of the United States. This is not a checker game. So, people are going to get out there and say whatever they have to say, do whatever they have to do to fight and win the office. And I'm not surprised by anything. And I think when you put yourself in a position where you're going to run for president of the United States, sort of anything is fair game.
Here is what some of the critics say. Some of the sort of, I don't know, mainstream Republicans, if you will, say, oh, wait, I don't want Donald Trump and I don't want Ted Cruz because they're too outside of the mainstream for me. So I want Marco Rubio. So I don't want to see these other guys who they think have a worse chance than Marco Rubio take Rubio down. Anybody feel that way?
That's correct.
Go ahead, in the back.
I feel like Marco Rubio is the only candidate out there right now that has widespread appeal among voters in the general campaign. And he's really the only standing chance that Republicans have.
Do you feel like he's getting dinged up too badly in this fight, in this intra-party fight?
Well, this feeds into the narrative that everyone is afraid of Marco Rubio because he is such a powerful figure. He has charisma. He has widespread appeal among many sectors of voters, including Hispanics and young people.
Okay. Have all that, but he does not have the experience that Jeb Bush or Chris Christie or John Kasich have. Nowhere near, right? Is that a problem for anybody?
But he's what people are really overlooking. John Kasich is the dark horse candidate here. He has an unbelievable portfolio of experience on a state level. On a federal level, he turned Ohio around. He's created 500,000 jobs there. They went from an $8 billion deficit to a $2 billion surplus. So he's really, across the board, his experience just speaks for itself, and he's able to cross the aisle.
All right, so how
he gets
much
Republicans
of
and
this is a charisma
Democrats.
factor, right? Because Governor Bush may not be the most charismatic candidate ever. Same for John Kasich, sweet guy, but not exactly bombastic, right? So Christie, I think he's different, but he's got other issues, as you point out. So how much of it is a charisma thing, like Rubio versus the two governors in the back? Go ahead.
It's so important because if you think about it, at the end of the day, if you're not able to get the votes, then it doesn't really matter. And millennials want to see that energy. They want to see something fresh, and you need to come to the table with new ideas. And what Rubio is able to bring us is new ideas and a plan. Unlike just talk, he's talking about education. He's talking about how he's going to start with our young people, and that's going to resonate to the voting population.
Go ahead. Yes.
I think Marco Rubio also showed his character. It would have been very easy for him to go and attack Governor Bush or Governor Christie, but he didn't. He handled it like a gentleman and a professional, and he's a young guy, and he comes from very humble beginnings. I think he's the American dream. I think that's what people like about him.
Is there any line they can't cross? Because politics, it clearly is a blood sport. I mean, they got some sharp elbows here. We saw some of that with the Cruz vote in Iowa. It's like, hey, this is an election. We're not going to leave anything on the floor. We're going to go for it. And yet, are there any lines that they cannot cross? Go ahead.
I don't know if there are or not, but they haven't crossed any lines, and we need to challenge all of these candidates, because if the primary candidates don't, the Democrats most certainly will. So I think that these are absolutely legitimate.
So you are looking for, pardon the analogy, but the cockroach, the one that can survive anything. The nuclear bomb comes, it can emerge, and there it will be standing next to Bernie or Hillary.
That's absolutely right.
So therein lies the problem also. Republicans, we tend to beat each other up, and all we're doing is giving ammunition to Hillary the liar or Bernie the socialist, whichever one of them gets in. And that's bad for our party in the long run. So, yes, politics is politics, and you beat each other up, but you have to draw lines somewhere, because you can't make it easier for the Democrats to come in and use that against the candidate in the general election.
Go right behind Rocco. Go ahead in the back.
I somewhat disagree. These people are looking to take George Washington's job.
There you go.
You need to bring everything to the table, whether it's the primary, whether it's the general election. You need to be prepared. We need to air out all of this baggage in the earlier part so you're able to step in like a gladiator and win in the general election. If you falter at this stage, you're going to have problems as you move.
So you're open up the baggage. Let's hear it. I want to see it all. Go ahead in the back.
I would just throw in.
What's that? Go ahead.
I think that Bush and Mr. Christie should spend more time concentrating on what their platform is and talking about what they want to do.
But
for
they've
our
been
country.
doing that, and it's not really resonating as well.
I think it's because Mr. Rubio has just done a phenomenal job in Iowa, and he's able to bring the party together and bring in young people discussing student aid and student loans and the debt students are facing. I think he'd be a great candidate.
All right, what do you make of? Did you hear Chris Christie? He's got a new term for Marco Rubio. Have you heard it? Bubble boy, right? Boy in the bubble. Boy in the bubble. In response to which, I think it was Seth Meyers who said Chris Christie is the bubble, which was kind of mean. But he's trying to basically say he hasn't gotten anywhere, he hasn't done anything, he's lived this sheltered life. What do you think?
I don't think that's true. I think that Christie's really desperate now because I think if he doesn't win the state, I think it's pretty much over for him. And I think Rubio is rising, and I think that's why Christie's just going after the attack.
Go ahead in the back.
I think that Rubio has done something. He co-authored the Gang of Eight mass amnesty plan, and this galvanized the Republican base to oppose it. So he did something in a very negative
You were not a Rubio fan, so does that mean you're not a Jeb Bush fan either?
Correct.
Who do you like?
Trump.
Okay, here's my question for you as a Trump supporter, because I think I've heard Christie supporters say this. If you like Trump, why don't you like Christie? He's also...
I like Christie.
Oh, you do? Okay, there you go. He's your second choice.
I'm a Trump supporter, but I don't like Christie for the items.
You like Trump, but not Christie.
I like Trump. Yes, you got to realize Trump is a businessman. He's a go-getter. He's a self-starter. He built an empire. He could do the same thing with this country. Christie, he's been a decent governor, but for the reasons I mentioned before, he doesn't deserve it.
He's only out for himself. That Christie said before. He said, you know what? I'm a fighter. When I got knocked down to the lower debate, I showed up. I didn't complain. I showed up. I debated in the undercard. Trump, he has one dust up. He doesn't show. What kind of leader do you want? That was his point. What are your thoughts as a Trump supporter?
My thoughts are I thought Trump was wrong in doing that. I disagreed with him in doing that. And I also thought, I said, well, either he's completely stupid or he's sly as a fox. I don't know. I think it was completely stupid, though. But he might have some other ideas in play.
He said now he admits it may have caught him.
It was such a cool move not to go to the debate, and all eyes were on him. I became a Trump supporter over this. He is a winner, and it is what America sorely needs.
Even though he now says he believes it cost him the Iowa race.
Well, you make the best decision at the time, and you have to go with it, right?
I would say we've got a few different examples here on this whole strategy of whether to participate in debates or not. You have Rand Paul that just boycotted a debate. Where is he now? You have Trump that boycotted a debate. It kind of hurt him. And Christie, on the other hand, he stuck it out. He did the undercard debate. He took it as a man, and he's excelling as a result.
Much more to come.